Hello to all of my nurses and all the aspiring nurses out there. In this episode, I would like to share with you all how I became a Navy nurse. I graduated high school and shortly from there enlisted into the military as a corpsman. So at first I went to Great Lakes, Illinois, graduated boot camp, and then went to Corpsman A School. After graduating from Corpsman A School, I went to the Naval Hospital Roosevelt Roads in Puerto Rico. In that hospital, it was a small hospital. For those of you who are civilian nurses, it's kind of like a type of rural community hospital. So it was small, but we still got a good amount of patients to see. And on that floor, we saw medical surgical patients, labor and delivery / postpartum. We took care of peds patients and also psych and mental health patients. Worked on the floor for a couple of years, almost 2 years, and then I worked at the OBGYN clinic and I helped out with well woman exams, pap smears, colposcopies, things of that nature. When I left Puerto Rico, I went to Field Medical Service School, which is a school that trains corpsmen. It's actually Marines that are training corpsmen, kind of like a mini boot camp for corpsmen to be able to serve with the Marines. So went there, graduated that school, and got stationed in Camp Pendleton, California at the 1st Medical Battalion. From there, I went to the 1st Marine Expeditionary Unit. So with our Marine unit, we got stationed on the USS Pearl Harbor, a Navy ship, and we went out and we did tons of different missions. We went all over, really. We went to places like Australia, Bahrain, Singapore, Egypt, and at that time Iraq was going on, so we went to Iraq for about 4 months. And while in Iraq, we worked at the battalion aid station, taking care of wounded Marines and sailors and getting them to the level of care that they needed to be. After that deployment, came back, went to back to 1st Medical Battalion, worked in the training department for a while, and then from there I went to Preventive Medicine School. Preventive Medicine School taught me how to, do health and sanitation inspections, deal with mass immunizations, and see patients who had sexually transmitted infections and counsel them and do a workup. And we learned how to file reports for adverse medical events, adverse drug reactions, and send reports up to the CDC and the local and state and federal health departments. From there, after I graduated Preventive Medicine School, I got stationed at the Naval Branch Health Clinic in Port Hueneme, California. Worked out of that clinic, seen patients who had STIs, and also did health and sanitation inspections as well. And then from there, I got deployed to Afghanistan as an individual augmentee with the 30th Medical Army Group. While in Afghanistan, I worked primarily as a preventive medicine health tech. So I would get to fly in helicopters every week, going to different forward operating bases and do health and sanitation inspections. But as well, because I was primarily a corpsman, if there were mass casualties, I would have to help out there as well and see patients who were wounded. When I got back from Afghanistan, it was around the time I had been in 9 years enlisted at that point, and it was around the time where I could make the decision to stay in the military or get out. And at that point in my life, I had already worked with a lot of Navy nurses and was super, super motivated to be a nurse myself. I was intrigued with the job, fell in love with what they do, and decided I wanted to be a nurse as well. I could have stayed in and become a nurse that way, but I wanted to get out and teach yoga as well. So I had gotten really into big into Bikram yoga, and wanted to get out and do the training. It was like 9 weeks. Um, so got out of the military, got my DD 214, went to the 9 weeks of yoga training, and then used my GI Bill to go to get my bachelor's of science at nursing. So I graduated from Grand Canyon University in Phoenix, Arizona, and I sought out a Navy detailer and asked how I could get back into the Navy active duty as a nurse corps officer. And the detailer, she told me about the nurse candidate program, and at that point you have to be already accepted into a nursing program. So let me backtrack. I hadn't already graduated. I had gotten accepted into the nursing program and then accepted into the nurse candidate program. So with the nurse candidate program, it helps you to pay some of the costs of tuition and books. They give you a $10,000 first time really tuition assistance, and then you can use that however you want. And then you get paid E5 with dependent pay until you graduate. So you're getting a stipend while you're in school, which is awesome. It helps out with a lot of the costs. So after I graduated my nursing school, I had to do the oath. I swore back in as a naval officer, and then went to officer development school in Rhode Island. So that school was 5 weeks, and it teaches, because you're put together with people who have been in the military and people who have never been in the military, but all brand new to officer life. So you learn how the Navy customs are, the traditions, how to wear the uniform, and then you learn leadership skills as well. So that was 5 weeks, graduated there, and then went to my first duty station, Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland. So that was an awesome experience. Because I was a new nurse, I was put into what's called the Clinical Nurse Transition Program, and it's basically a nurse residency program for new nurses, teaching you how to work as a nurse in that hospital. So that was 6 months after I graduated the CNTP program. I went to 3 Center, which is a medical surgical telemetry / cardiothoracic floor. Learned a lot there. Walter Reed's very busy, so honed in on my nursing skills. Became a charge nurse towards the middle of my time there. So I spent a total of 3 years there, and then I got orders to Okinawa, Japan, the Naval Hospital here in Okinawa, Japan, where I'm at now. So I've been here for almost a year. In 10 days, it will be 1 year since I've been here, and I have 3-year orders here. So that's how I got to where I'm at now. If you have any questions, comments, go ahead and message me right down below. Like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see